I have always been a good student all my life. I am currently in 11th grade and last year my parents did something drastic. I vividly remember the day I got the big chop. Before my shave I had hair till my butt and cherished it. Just as soon as my ninth standard got over, my father brought me to his barber shop. I was very confused as to why we are there. I asked him, "Papa, why are we here?" He replied, "To shave your head." I wanted to protest, but he pushed me onto the barber's chair and he told the barber, "Iska purasar sof kardo ekbal nahin bakna chahi, shave her head really smooth, no hair should be left on her head." Hearing that, I started to cry but had no choice. I had heard stories of my cousins getting short hair during boards. They are kept with short hair or bald for 3 years. I began to cry as the barber sectioned my head in 2 ponytails. My father said, "This is the last time you will have such long hair for a long time." Hearing this, I become even sadder. The barber used a straight razor, Ustra, to shave me. In 5 minutes, half of my head was shaved. Then in another 5 minutes, I was completely bald. All my hair was lying on the floor. I couldn't understand, just for some marks, why was I shaved like a baby? If you saw me from behind, you would think I was a boy. Many men there were laughing at me. My father checked my head and told the barber to make it smoother. After about half an hour, we went home. On the way, I felt like people were staring at me. The wind hit my bald head and I felt cool. My mother saw it but wasn't shocked. Instead, she told me that she was anyways tired of combing my long hair, and now that I was gonna be bald for 3 to 4 years is a big relief to her. I was shaved every week. And I am still shaved to this day. My father says I will be shaved until my 12th boards are over. I have accepted my bald head now. It feels very cool, but it is difficult being a girl with no hair. I'm waiting for my 12th board to be over so I can regrow my hair.
The bride had been the village's beauty, admired from a distance but never fully understood. Her hair was the crown of her beauty, long, wild, and thick, falling in heavy waves down to her lower back. Each strand reflected the sunlight like liquid silk, and for years she had nurtured it with oils and herbs, believing it to be the essence of her womanhood. The weight of it was something she had grown accustomed to, but secretly, it made her feel burdened. Each time she washed it, each time she braided it, she thought of how freeing it might be to trim it. But such thoughts could never be spoken aloud. Her hair was more than just hers, it belonged to the village, to her family, to tradition. Her insecurities remained a silent burden. She looked into the mirror and saw more than just the thick, unruly waves. She saw the wildness of her unshaped eyebrows, fierce and untamed, casting a sharpness over her otherwise soft face. She saw the fine layer of hair on her arms and legs, the dark, coarse patches under her arms that she never felt the need to remove, and the dense, tangled growth of pubic hair that seemed to mock the femininity she was supposed to represent. Her body, with all its imperfections, was a contradiction. In public, she was the village bride, pure and perfect. In private, she felt weighed down by the very things that made her beautiful. She often imagined how it might feel to strip it all away. She fantasized about standing in front of a mirror, scissors in hand, cutting through the thick locks that hung so heavily down her back. She wondered what it would feel like to glide her hands over smooth, hairless skin, free of the fine, almost invisible hairs that covered her body. Sometimes, in the dead of night, she would touch the thick curls of hair between her legs and dream of feeling bare, clean, and modern. But these were just fantasies. In her world, a woman's natural beauty was to be preserved at all costs, and altering herself would mean rejecting everything her upbringing stood for. Now, standing on the brink of her new life as a bride, she wondered if marriage might offer her a path to those unspoken desires. She would have a new family, new traditions, perhaps, in time. She would find the freedom to explore the parts of herself she had kept hidden for so long. But those thoughts were quickly drowned out by the weight of responsibility and duty. For now, she was the village's bride, and she would wear that title with all the grace and poise expected of her. The metallic sound of the blades sent a shiver down her spine. "This is how we honor our family's traditions," the mother-in-law continued. "You will be cleansed. Your hair, your body, it will all be transformed. Only then will you be reborn into our family, a symbol of purity and obedience." The bride's mouth went dry. Her eyes darted to her husband, hoping for some kind of reassurance, some sign that this was a misunderstanding. But he said nothing, his eyes dark and indifferent, filled with a cold anticipation. Her mind raced, desperately searching for a way out, but there was none. This was her fate. The bride was seated on the wooden stool, her body trembling as the family circled around her. The cool evening air brushed against her skin, amplifying her sense of vulnerability. The weight of her thick braid, so carefully maintained over the years, now felt like a death sentence. She had dreamed of cutting her hair before, but this was not the way she had imagined. This wasn't freedom, this was control, a stripping away of her identity. The barber approached her, his face impassive as he lifted the long, heavy braid. Her mother-in-law nodded in approval, signaling that the first stage of the ritual could begin. The bride's heart raced as the sharp, metallic sound of scissors echoed through the courtyard. She winced as the cold blades sliced through her hair. The weight of the braid was suddenly gone, and her head felt lighter, exposed. She watched, horrified, as the thick, dark braid fell to the ground, coiled like a dead snake at her feet. But it didn't stop there. The barber continued to snip away at her hair, cutting it in uneven chunks, leaving her scalp exposed in patches. Each cut was precise, deliberate, as if he was peeling away layers of her past. She sat frozen, her fingers gripping the edge of the stool as she watched her reflection in the small mirror they had placed in front of her. Her once beautiful, flowing hair now lay in uneven tufts around her, a shadow of its former glory. The final image of her hair as she had known it was disappearing with each cruel snip. She had fantasized about cutting her hair short, about styling it into something sleek and modern. But this was something else entirely. This wasn't the liberation she had imagined. This was submission. This was the first step in the complete erasure of who she had been. Once her hair had been reduced to a jagged, uneven crop, the family's attention turned to the next stage of the ritual. Her heart sunk as her mother-in-law gestured for her to remove her clothes. The bride froze, her entire body stiffening with shock. She had never imagined having to undress in front of her new family, exposing her most private self to their cold, scrutinizing eyes. But the stern look on her mother-in-law's face left no room for argument. With trembling hands, the bride began to remove the layers of her sari, her fingers fumbling over the delicate fabric. The silence in the courtyard was deafening, each movement she made feeling like a betrayal of her dignity. Her body shook as she stripped away each layer, but she was moving too slowly for their liking. Without warning, her mother-in-law stepped forward and roughly pulled the remaining garments from her body, leaving her completely naked in front of the gathered family. Her heart pounded in her chest as she stood there, exposed and vulnerable, her body on full display for all to see. The fine layer of hair on her arms and legs, the dark patches of coarse hair under her arms, the dense, untouched curls of pubic hair, all of it was revealed under the harsh, critical gaze of her husband's family. The bride could feel their eyes inspecting every inch of her body, pointing out the imperfections that had never bothered her before. Her mother-in-law's voice was sharp as she made comments about the areas that would need the most attention during the next phase of the ritual. The bride's skin burned with humiliation, her face hot with shame. She had never felt so exposed, so powerless. With her body now completely bare and her dignity stripped away, the bride was seated back on the stool. The next part of the ritual was the most symbolic, the complete shaving of her head. The barber approached once again, this time holding a razor. Her scalp, already bare in places from the rough haircut, was wet with cold water as the blade was pressed against her skin. The first stroke of the razor scraped across her head, leaving a smooth, shiny path in its wake. The sensation was foreign, cold, and brutal. With each pass of the blade, she could feel her identity slipping away. The long, thick hair that had been her pride, the very thing that had defined her womanhood, was now being removed entirely. Her scalp grew lighter and smoother with each stroke, the sound of the razor cutting through the last remnants of her hair echoing in her ears. Her tears flowed freely now, but she made no sound. Her body remained stiff and rigid, too numb to react. As the barber continued, her mother-in-law stood by, watching closely to ensure that no hair was left behind. After the first pass, they weren't satisfied. Her scalp was shaved again with shaving cream, then once more, dry, to ensure absolute smoothness. Finally, hot wax was applied to her scalp, removing any remaining stubble, leaving her head completely bare. The bride felt as if she had been stripped of everything that made her who she was. Her hair was gone, her head now smooth and shiny under the dim light of the courtyard. The ritual had reduced her to nothing but a symbol, a body to be controlled and shaped according to her new family's desires. With summer break in full swing, my parents had left for a business trip, leaving me with Uncle Dan, who owned a barber shop where I'd recently started working part-time. My job wasn't anything exciting, just sweeping hair, organizing capes, and managing the till, but it was a way to make some money during the summer. That Saturday morning, I was at the shop with Uncle Dan, helping with the opening tasks. My hair was a disaster, long, frizzy, and poofy, sticking out in all directions. It was about 6 inches from my shoulders and badly overdue for a cut. I had an appointment at my usual salon, but my parents' trip forced me to cancel. By mid-afternoon, the barbershop slowed down. The other barbers had gone for lunch, leaving me and Uncle Dan alone. He glanced at me from his chair, smirking. "Chrissy, your hair looks like it's fighting the summer heat and losing. Don't you think it's time for a cut?" I sighed. "I know, Uncle Dan. But my salon appointment got cancelled, and I haven't had the chance to reschedule." He set his tools down and grinned. "Why not let me take care of it? I can give you a cut right here." I hesitated, unsure. "You're a barber, not a stylist. I'm not sure you can handle this mess." "Oh, come on. It's just hair. If I mess it up, you can grow it back," he said, his grin widening. After some thought, I gave in. "All right, fine. But just a trim, okay?" He waved me over to the chair. I sat down nervously, feeling the large leather seat envelop me. Uncle Dan wrapped a strip of tissue around my neck and fastened a red-striped cape over me. The cape felt enormous, draping all the way past my knees. "So, how short are we going?" he asked, picking up his clippers. "Maybe an inch and a half all around, 2 inches on top." He nodded and powered up the clippers. The buzzing sound filled the shop as he tilted my head forward and brought the clippers to the back of my neck. The vibration sent shivers down my spine as I felt the clippers move upward, removing chunks of hair with every pass. Hair tumbled down onto the cape, gathering in a messy pile on my lap. When he finished, he turned the chair toward the mirror. My jaw dropped. "Uncle Dan, this looks terrible," I exclaimed, staring at the uneven mess. He scratched his head. "Yeah, this isn't working. How about we go shorter? A crew cut, maybe?" I sighed, feeling defeated. "Fine. Anything's better than this." Uncle Dan adjusted the clippers and went back to work. This time, more hair fell away, leaving me with a very short, boyish cut. He handed me my glasses, and when I saw the result, I shook my head in disbelief. "It's awful. You know what? Just shave it all off. I can't take this anymore." Uncle Dan paused, raising an eyebrow. "Shave it? Are you serious, Chrissy?" "Yes, I'm serious. Shave it all off." Without another word, he removed the guard from the clippers, exposing the bare blade. He tilted my head forward again and began buzzing away the remaining hair. The clippers glided smoothly across my scalp, reducing the fuss to mere stubble. I watched in awe as my hair disappeared, leaving my head nearly bare. Once the clippers stopped, Uncle Dan grabbed a warm towel and draped it over my head. He reached for the hot lather machine, dispensing a generous amount of foam into his hand. He spread the lather evenly across my scalp, the warmth soothing and strangely exhilarating. Then came the razor. With precise, deliberate strokes, he shaved my head clean, removing every trace of hair. He wiped away the remaining lather with a cool, damp towel, leaving my scalp smooth and shiny. When he finally removed the cape, I reached up and touched my head. The sensation was surreal, cool, smooth, and completely different from anything I'd felt before. I turned to Uncle Dan, grinning. "This feels incredible. I love it." "Glad you like it," he said, laughing. "I didn't think you'd go this far." That summer, I embraced my new look wholeheartedly. For months, I kept my head shaved, enjoying the freedom and simplicity it brought. It was bold, liberating, and a memory I'd cherish forever.
इतने शाइनी बाल मैंने नहीं देखे आज तक। मेरे को बिलीव ही नहीं हो रहा जिस बालों को मैं इतना फॉलो कर रहा था। आज की तरह नंबर मिल ही गया आपके साथ।
ऐसे चला दो। अच्छा फोन आ रहा है किसी, ये अननोन नंबर है, चलो उठा के देखते हैं। हाँ हेलो, हाँ आप कौन?
मैम मैं आपका बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ।
हाँ हाँ बताइए बताइए।
मैंने आपको इंस्टाग्राम पे पता कितने मैसेजेस किए, कितने मैसेजेस करे, ना तो मुझे कोई रिप्लाई मिला। आज मैंने आपको कितनी बार ये किया, उसके बाद आपने आपका ईमेल से कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर आपका, तो फिर मैंने आपको क्या बहुत टाइम बाद मैं आपको कॉल कर लेता हूँ। बड़ी हिम्मत लगी।
एक्चुअली क्या है ना, मैं थोड़ा मतलब इंस्टा पे बहुत सारे मेरे फैंस हैं, तो मैं थोड़ा क्या है ना बिजी हो जाती हूँ और इतने सारे लोगों का मैसेज का रिप्लाई देना थोड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है मेरा, तो इसलिए मैं आपका मैसेज का रिप्लाई मैं नहीं दे पाई, तो उसके लिए सॉरी। और ज़्यादातर लोग मुझे ईमेल नहीं करते, बट बहुत कम लोग ईमेल, जो सीरियस होते हैं वही मुझे ईमेल करते हैं, तो इसलिए मैंने आपको